Hey, it's Mark with Mark's Virtual Real Estate Channel. We're back in Upland with an update on what is going on in this virtual real estate world. Some of it has been good, at least for me, but Upland has come out with some new new mandates, I guess, that really impact a lot of players and aren't good in my opinion. So we'll talk about those and see what's going to happen with this new gamified approach to Upland, as they call it, which of course they say is the best thing in the world, like every change they make. But some of his players are not exactly thrilled with the changes Upland has made lately. So first off, I do want to say, I don't look at every single change Upland makes and look for the bad in it. I still play Upland. Obviously, I still like it in some aspect, or I wouldn't. I do look at these changes and try and see positive and if it'll make things better. And at first, with this change, we were talking about on my Discord, the Investor More Discord channel. Everybody's welcome to join. There's a link below in the description of this video. We were talking about how it's going to be a good thing and how, it's going to make the game more fun. And then we started digging into it and talking about it. It's like, oh, wait a second. Never mind. This is what's really happening. And basically, what Upland is doing is just drastically reducing the earnings on all the properties, unless you're a very active, very, very active player. So we'll show you what they're doing. As for some of the good stuff, I might do a completely separate video on that. But as many of you know, Kingdoms has gone away, and Upland's really big into second layer right now. They want kind of other companies to piggyback onto them to do a lot of the stuff they said they would do instead of doing it themselves. And Kingdoms was fun, but I stopped playing it there at the end. And the person who started it, kudos to them for trying and putting that together. Just said it was too much work, too much hassle from people. Totally understand that, but that's the risk of these second layer things, and why I don't think Upland can just completely rely on second layer to do all the work for them. They really need to do things themselves and make things better real estate wise. There's Tycoons right now, which is also a lot of fun. I've been playing it, and I'll probably do another video on that, and that's made Upland, I think, a lot better too. But again, it's a second layer. What if that company or the people running that shut down or get sick or something happens and it's gone? And the tricky thing with some of these second layer things too is, like, you can spend money and UPX and time building them, and then all of a sudden they disappear. So I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying we shouldn't have them. I think they're fun, but you just have to be very careful with them and not put all your eggs in one basket with them, because it can change very quickly. So we'll do another video on those. It has even made me treasure hunt some, which I never did, which is kind of crazy. So there's ways you can send your guy and get loot and different stuff and build mines and different things in Tycoon. So that's a cool thing, is with this Upland Spark Exchange is how you get into it. Pretty fun, pretty cool. All right, now, what happened with earnings and different stuff with Upland? Well, they came out with gamified earnings, right? So we've been talking about this a lot, at least I have, how it'd be nice if buildings had some kind of way to increase earnings or some kind of use besides being shops. Yes, the second layer things have given more use to buildings, which is good, but again, I don't think we can fully rely on second layer. It's great, it's fun, but there's a chance they just disappear, and then that's not good. Upland, on the other hand, could give us more utility for these buildings. And something else occurred to me too, and hopefully this isn't the case, but some of these decisions they're making, I don't want to say that I have that big of an impact on what Upland does. We know they've responded to my videos. I know the way they've reacted to some of my questions. I don't think they're real happy with me. But it's almost like we say things in our videos and give suggestions, and it's like, oh, we'll show them. We'll do this instead. And hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they don't pay that much attention to my stuff that it would bother them that much. But some of this stuff kind of seems like just a little bit like that. All right, so what is going on? We're thrilled to introduce the first iteration of gamified UPX earnings. I don't want to beat a dead horse. It drives me crazy how they talk about how awesome every single decision they make is. Like, just be real. Like, you don't need to like sell every single thing you do. And when they post this stuff on Facebook or they give the updates, like, this is the most amazing advancement in gaming in the history of the world, and Upland is at the front tier of every single. I'm like, dude, just the more you act like that, the more I think you don't believe it yourself. So just like tone it down a bit. I think it'd be better for everybody. Anyway, Why gamified earnings? At the heart of Upland's ethos is the belief that active players, the core of our community, deserve recognition. The introduction of gamified earnings aims to address the imbalance where inactive players reap the same benefits as their more engaged counterparts. In simple, the more you participate, the greater your rewards. This approach ensures that those who contribute most to the vibrancy of Upland are appropriately rewarded with a maximum earning on their properties. So they're saying you have to play more, be more active to get the maximum earnings on your properties. I don't like that. I'm just going to say it just because one of the reasons I don't like that is because, right, if you're more active, if you're playing more, that should reward you in better play, better properties, better earnings, because you're in the game doing those things. Or if you're treasure hunting, or if you're researching more, those are your rewards right there. But telling people they have to, it's kind of like a participation award in some sense. You've got to show up to get the same earnings, which as a real estate investor, and the main reason why I joined Upland was because of real estate, virtual real estate, it can be a passive investment. That's what real estate is talked about all the time. Now, it's not completely passive. There's work you have to do. There's things you have to do. But it's advertised as a passive investment. So if Upland built this as a real estate game, it's supposed to emulate real life real estate, yes, there's some investments that require more work and attention than others. But it's not something, like, it's the whole idea that you have to be here every day and do work every day and be active every day is the complete opposite of what real estate investing is really about. It's more about putting effort into the beginning, finding good deals, improving properties, making them better, finding renters. And then if you did your work, you screened your tenants, you did everything good, it should be smooth sailing for a while at least until the lease is up. Sometimes you have issues and problems you have to take care of, yes. But it's not like every single day you're at the tenant's apartment badgering them on if they cleaned up their counter or not, right? That's the opposite of what real estate investing is about. And the more Upland evolves, it's like they're just getting away from the real estate stuff and more into the gaming stuff. And that's not why I joined Upland. I didn't join it to have to game and play and spend a bunch of time here. I joined it because of the investment potential and because it was fun. And I think the best way Upland can build up and get more money into the game, which I think is why they're doing a lot of this stuff, because everything they do seems to be a money grab right now, is to get investors and advertisers, right? If you get big investors, big advertisers into the game, that's easy money. And there's lots of ways people could advertise, put signs on buildings, different things. And there are some brands on Upland right now. I think, is it Sotheby's has some property? I can't remember. I saw it on some of the top players. But if you keep reducing all your earnings and making it so you have to be an active player, you're chasing away brands. You're chasing away investors who'd be interested in it for the investment aspect, parking money in it, seeing what happens, and advertising. You're chasing those people away, which is the opposite of what you want to do. And at first, we thought it might be okay, like I said when we were talking about this in the Discord, because it was kind of giving the mistake we made. We'll tell you in just a second here. We thought, you had like kind of a middle ground. If you want to be really active participant, you could come up here. If you weren't that active participant, you'd be like right here. But then when we dug into it more and we realized what the earnings were, it's more like, okay, here's kind of sort of active players. Not active players are right here, and really active players are over here. But your average person is way, way down the road on earnings. They drastically reduce these like crazy. And so what you're trying to, they have these new seasons they introduced, and I guess they dropped the Frost cosmetics, and people weren't happy in my Discord. I didn't even look at them, but I wasn't even excited enough to watch that video. I don't have time for that. You can't sell them. You can't do anything. What's the point? Anyway, you've got to do all this stuff in these seasons. From Frost is from February 1st to March 15th, which gives you, 45? No, not that many days, because there's only 28 days in February. Or is this a leap year? I don't know. Anyway, like 42 days or something. So there's a leaderboard, blah, blah, blah. So here is what is going on. Gamified UPX earnings calculation. Base earning, 4.9% is now the base earning. Do you know what the base earning was before this? It was 14.7%. So what they have done is they've made the base earning before, you're now max earning, and you have stretch earning if you do everything, which is, I don't know who's going to do everything. But anyway, they basically decreased it by 3 times. 3 times. So if you're making 150,000 UPX a month before on your properties, and you spent a lot of money on the game and invested, it's another issue. You now just saw your return decrease by 300%, or a third of what you're now making 50,000 instead of 150,000. unless you do all this stuff. Now, some people are going to be doing some of this stuff. Some you can raise your base up a little bit, but it's going to be really, really hard for most players to get this max earning. Really hard, and basically impossible to get more than it was before. So they basically just reduced all the earnings for everybody, and with their pooling stuff, I'm sure this gives Upland more money by doing this. And yes, designed to engage. I do like how they don't tell us what the max earning was before. We had to look that up and figure that out. If they're more transparent about that, it would be nice. So we'll show you. You have to do 5 tasks to get the 14.7%. And then if you do all of the tasks, you get 15.2. It's still a 0.5% greater rate than what it was before if you do all the tasks. Like almost zero reward now. It's just, yeah. And they just make these changes on a whim too, which would give investors and people investing money into the game almost zero confidence in investing more money into the game. Let's say I invested $10,000 into this game thinking, oh, I'm gonna be making 14.7%. I'm really not, because, the dollar changes up and down versus UpX. It's hard to get your money out of it. I'm never gonna think I'm actually gonna make that return, but there's collections that might bump it up. Really, I'm thinking, hey, it'd be nice to get some kind of return. And then maybe my properties go up in value. Maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel here. But when you see in the past that they said you make a 14.7% and they said, oh, we're just kidding, you make 4% now. How much confidence does that give anybody to invest money into the game? Almost zero. It's chasing away any big investors by doing this. And yeah, so here's how it works. If you complete 1 task, you go up to 5.8%. If you complete 2 tasks, you go up to 7.35%. If you complete 3 tasks, you go up to 9.8%. If you complete 4 tasks, you go up to 12.25%. And if you complete 5 tasks, you get 14.7%. All tasks, like I said, are 15.2%. So let's see. Frost season, it doesn't change earnings yet. It will change earnings for the next season for stuff you complete in Frost. So here are the things you can do. Mint 3 properties during any season. If there's city releases, that's easy. If not, kind of a pain. So we'll see if they have consistent city releases. They sort of are all over the place with that. Buy 6 properties on the secondary market. That's kind of a lot, right? I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of a lot of properties to buy depending on what you're looking to do. Participate in 5 multiplayer races and win at least 2. I've never raced in my life, so I'm not doing that. That sounds like a lot of time, but I don't know. I don't care about racing in Upland. I don't think most people do. Log in at least 25 days during the season. Fairly easy, right? That's an easy one. We kind of tick that as like most people can do that, especially with the Spark thing. But if you're a big investor or a brand, what are you going to do? Hire someone to go play Upland every day? How's that going to look when you talk to your board and go over expenses and be like, yeah, we invested in this virtual real estate, investment, but we had to have Tom over here, an accountant, go into Upland every day and log in, and he's actually buying some properties and doing treasure hunts to make sure we have the earnings we need. How's your board going to think about that in your company if you've got someone gaming to make your investment work? Yeah. All right, so you've got 1 that's fairly easy. Log in for 7 consecutive days. Fairly easy. Okay, there's 2. Visit 5 different cities using public or private transportation. That's a lot of cities, and that's expensive. That's not an easy one to do. It's fairly expensive to fly, take trains. That's a little pricey, I'm not gonna lie. Apply a frost ornament to your property for at least 3 weeks. I don't know how to buy frost ornaments or where to get them or anything like that. I guess it's fairly easy. I don't know what their cost though. Usually the ornaments are pretty expensive, so not fairly easy. Complete construction of structures in 3 different cities. Right, completing 3 different structures would be tricky in 45 days unless you're buying Spark from the Spark Exchange and you're spending money. Doing it in 3 different cities is even trickier, and without giving us any utility for these structures, like what's the point here? Maybe if you gave us some utility for having these structures already and not building them, that'd be nice. So that's tricky. Complete construction of 5 different models of structures. 5 different buildings in 45 days. Are they just, this makes me think they're just trying to give the big monster whales who have tons of Spark more money, right? There's no way newbies or even medium or even fairly large players can do this without buying Spark. So you're spending money to do most of these. collect 3 competitive treasures and treasure hunts. Okay, that's fairly easy. Even I can do that. It still takes time and effort, but it's fairly easy. Again, I don't know if you want your Fortune 500 company investing in here and having Bob from, the mailroom collecting treasures on work time. Not sure. Collect 5 standard treasure or competitive treasures. No, that's harder. That's like when you have to compete against other people. Never mind. That's not it. I don't do that. Collect the 5 standard treasures. I can do that one, the standard treasures. Honestly, I don't ever do competitive treasure hunts. Complete 3 property collections for the first time. That's a really tricky one too. So basically we've got 3 fairly easy ones, 2 easy ones for participating. The rest are very difficult, time consuming. And so basically what they're saying is most of our earnings, unless you want to spend a lot of time in the game, are going from 14.7%, which is what it was now, to 7. We're getting our earnings cut in half. And this is at a time when Upland is not doing well. It does not have a lot of money coming into the game. It has a lot of players leaving the game, and they're going to chase way more players away by doing this. I already had some people comment on some of my other videos saying they're leaving Upland now because of this, just as everything piled on top of it. This was kind of like the final straw. I'm not leaving Upland, but this doesn't make it more fun for me. This makes it a pain. This makes it like a burden and not something I am looking forward to at all. Now, again, I don't really like this idea in the first place. If you wanted to give players a bonus for like doing stuff, that's cool. Maybe you say, okay, earnings are too high. We're going down to 11% for earnings for everybody. This has been our plan all along. They did drop earnings before from like 17.3 to 14.7. And if they announce it well in advance, give people lots of notice and say we're dropping earnings, hey, maybe you can do that. And then say, well, if you want to keep your 14.7 earning, here you do some of these tasks. And if you want to get even more earnings, you can do some of these tasks, and it goes back up to 17%. Give people a real bonus. Now you're giving them a job to keep the same return they're getting before, and that doesn't leave a good feeling. And yeah, you got to do all of them to get 15.2. Literally, who is going to do all of these for an extra 0.5%? You're going to spend, unless you're a giant whale, you're going to spend more money doing all those than that 0.5%. And the time it takes too is ridiculous. Instead of unless you literally have to hire someone to do this stuff for you. And there's a leaderboard. I sort of saw it, but I haven't checked to see how I'm doing. So that's the wonderful world of Upland right now. And then I'll show you this. Someone posted this in my Discord, and I asked them if I could share it, and they didn't respond yet, but I'm still sharing it. So hopefully that's okay. This gives you an idea of what that could be in real life. So here, I think up here, they had 3 properties, and this is what they would have made now, $113,546 a month, right? Now, this is what happens after the changes. Base earnings, $921. You went from 13,000. Is that right? Is that math right to 921? No, base earnings is 4.9, right? Hold on. I'm sharing this, but I'm wondering if this math is slightly off here. Because 14.9 is the base. And let me check this. Yeah, that's not quite correct. I'm not sure what this will just... let me see here. I do? Where's my little cross out guy? Somewhere. Well, we'll make it red. Ignore this red stuff right here. Okay. So if you do 0 tasks, you get 4,515 now. Sorry. You go from 13,000 to 4,500. That's a huge reduction. You do 1 task, you now have 5,400. You do 2 tasks, you have 6,700. Again, that's kind of like the easy one most active players can do is 6,700. For those who treasure hunt, maybe you can, you could pretty easily get up to 9,000. You'll have to tell me how easy it is to win competitive treasure hunts. I guess you get to 11,000 if you treasure hunt a lot. You're still below what it was before. And then if you do 5 tasks, which means you're traveling, buying properties, doing other stuff, you can get up to 13,000, what it was before. And then if you do all the tasks, which I don't think anybody's ever going to do, you get 14,000. They've basically they've given us no bonus at all, nothing, no good things with this, pretty much all bad things. So, like I said, at first we kind of were thinking this might be a good thing until we realized they're giving us no bonus. It's all just a decrease in earnings. So they're taking away utility and earnings and people's want to join the game. And I said Upland was doing not very good, and I will show you what I'm talking about here. Because, I had an argument, a fight with Upland about them not showing us data and what's going on, and I asked for some certain data, and they said, go look it up on the blockchain was their answer, like that's an easy thing to do. And they're very rude to me. And they literally have a marketplace analytics page. They could have said, go to this page and it gives you some data. They didn't. I had to find this on my own, but this is probably why they didn't want me to see it. If we look at the daily transaction log, here's what it looks like. So this is February 5th, so it's like 2 days old, even though it says it's updated every 4 hours, and it doesn't really quite work very well on here. You can't really change any of this. It doesn't do anything, but at least last time I checked. Look, it is at low, so low. Even with the city release, right? It is just almost flatlining with UPEX being spent in Upland right now. And now they're taking away more of it. They're taking away more UPEX. And that's what makes the game fun, is when players have UPEX, when players can have money to spend on releases, to buy properties. That's what keeps the economy going. It's like, I think Upland's whole idea behind this and everything else they've been doing recently is they want to suck as much UPEX out of the economy as they can so that people buy UPEX from them directly. I think that's what they're doing. That's why they're doing sales that are tied to UPEX. That's why they're reducing earnings. That's why they're making properties so expensive in city releases and harder to make money on those releases. They want to suck all the money out of the economy so that people have to go to them directly to buy UPEX, because I think people used to buy way more UPEX because it was way more fun and the releases were more fun and they had a reason to. And now people are buying way less UPEX and they're kind of maybe panicking a little bit, like, how do we get more people to buy UPEX? What do we do? That's my only theory on this. And this hurts the economy, right? If you take money out of economy, it goes down. If you put money into the economy, it goes up. And there's no inflation. It's not like prices are going up. The prices are going down in most areas, I think, with all the changes they've made in treasure hunting and different stuff. So this could make prices drop even more because, again, it's taking UPEX out of the system. It's decreasing the return on your property, so it gives people less incentive to buy those properties. And this could drastically reduce prices in Upland and demand in Upland, especially from bigger players who may have been thinking about joining and now are like, if they're going to make just decisions of a whim with no warning, just reduce earnings like this, that's crazy. I'm not going to put my money in that. And supposedly it's supposed to be, decentralized at some point, and they just make random decisions that destroy your earnings with no warning. I mean, they warned us something was happening, but they didn't tell us exactly what was happening. How is that decentralized? You just changing rules whenever you feel like it. So we'll see. And they have some new releases coming up that aren't being announced in Trenton and Stockton, right? Here's Trenton. They're mostly FSA properties, but they're not telling us when the release is. They did the Beverly Hills thing where you have to buy in Ethereum. That was the only way to get properties there. I didn't participate in that. So they're just changing everything. And as you can see, a lot of us aren't participating. Some people are leaving, and we'll see if they stick with the decision or change it in the future. I'm sure they're going to get a ton of pushback on it, but that's my opinion on it. That's what I think about it. Let me know what you think, and I'll probably do another video on the tycoons thing. I mean, I have a lot of stuff going on in my real estate world, right? In my online world with investformore.com, my blog, my YouTube channel, all that. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on videos and doing different stuff in Upland if it's just going to keep doing stuff like this. So that's why you've been seeing less videos from me. If Upland was fun, exciting, I had more opportunity, I'd be doing more of these videos. But I'm still active on our Discord. You can still check us out there, talk to us there if you want to. And we'll be back with another video at some point.